Hello, everyone. It is Steph. This quarter, we are diving into Gino Wickman's Traction. And this week, I want to talk about the commitment to letting go of the devil you know. And this ties in with a big part of Gino Wickman's book, which is about getting the right people in the right seats and aligning as much as possible people's skills, abilities, and interests with what they're doing every day to make a living. If you can do that, you can grow a business that is very scalable because you have people who are happy, they are challenged, they're productive, and they're really leaning into what they do. Countless times, I have seen business owners cling to the devil they know. And it's not that they're necessarily clinging to an employee who is a bad person, it's that they are a bad fit. And the vision and the direction of the business is simply at odds with either their temperament, their abilities, their willingness to learn, their coachability, pick something. But what they do represent is a known variable who is stable and predictable, and therefore one less thing that the owner has to really kind of think about at the end of the day, even though the owner is constrained to working in their business instead of on it because they have to pick up the slack that their team is creating for lack of ability or interest. The devil you know is very tempting because it is scary to take that leap of faith to destabilize your team and start replacing people and tinker and experiment until you get the right mix. It's uncomfortable. I had to do that in my previous life with a management company that I worked for before I went out on my own. I definitely limped along with certain managers longer than I should have because I was just trying to get my head above water. I couldn't take on more work while I fired them and was looking for a replacement and getting them trained. I mean, it just felt also overwhelming. And the problem is, sometimes that is a very practical consideration. And at the same time, you are prolonging your own amount of kind of low level pain, and you're really disrupting your ability to grow a truly viable business, which is all the more reason why I have so much respect for a client that I've been working with for about the last 18 months. And she originally came to me because she desperately wanted to move into the CEO seat. And every time she tried to make that leap, she'd get pulled back into the day-to-day of her business because she did not have the right team. And part of her, most of her, knew that she didn't have the right team, but it was that fear of destabilizing and having to work even harder and to work even more in order to build towards something that she knew would ultimately be better. And I think she just needed some support and a game plan to have the confidence to pull the trigger and do what needed to be done. And much to her credit, because at the end of the day, she's pretty fearless. She started to replace people. And once we replaced one person who was actually quite toxic to the rest of the staff, and she felt the immediate improvement, the immediate positive impact of that change, then it empowered her to make the next change. And so we systematically went through her staff, and anyone who was open to being coached, open to expanding their skills, open to the direction that the company was taking, we wanted them to stay on the ride and keep riding it with us. But if someone was fundamentally entrenched in their mindset, their way of doing things, they were not coachable, they did not want to expand their skills, they did not want to do anything differently, they wanted to do it the way they've been doing it for the last 5 years, even though that's not the direction the company has to evolve in order to serve its clientele, then those people had to get off the ride. And that's not just a one and done. We went through many iterations of the team in the last 18 months. We'd try someone on for size. Sometimes they worked, sometimes they didn't. And we'd have to let them go and start the interview process over again. And what I really admire and respect about this client is she had a clear vision of what she was trying to achieve, and she did not compromise that in the best sense. Compromise, yes, is necessary under certain circumstances, but when you're trying to build a business that serves the community and you have a very specific vision for it, and you know how it needs to be done in order to be successful, it doesn't make you closed off to input, but it does make you unwavering in the choices you have to make in order to get that accomplished at the end of the day. And she was unwavering. And she went through multiple team members until she found the right people. She didn't go through all of those people because she had a bad plan. She went through those people because we just weren't finding the right fit right off the bat. And so she was patient and she did what needed to be done. And now, today, she has a kick-ass core team who takes care of all of the day-to-day. She has a director who's handling the day-to-day operations on her behalf, who is outstanding and very professional, coachable, communicative, meets deadlines, like everything that was on our wish list, her director is doing. And now my client fully occupies the CEO role, and she has, I mean, compared to what she had before, she has unbelievable amounts of time now to focus on strategy and growth and leading the business into the future. So it's a legacy project, and it's something that will continue to make an impact on the community. It takes guts to do this. It is not easy, and a lot of people will continue to put themselves in a situation where they quietly suffer, and they work nights and they work weekends and they do whatever it takes to pick up the slack because they will not let the wrong people go. And that is a choice. And I do understand it. And I do understand the discomfort of upsetting your apple cart. I'm also here to say that unless you are willing to make your peace with some discomfort and get a game plan for how you're going to manage that and have a really clear vision for what is waiting for you when you get to the other side of that discomfort, unless you're willing to experience that, it's very difficult to have a long-term sustainable business, let alone grow your business, because the wrong people in the wrong seats will inevitably cause you to contract. So this is a big question to ask yourself is, are you settling for the devil you know, whether it's in an employee or a process or a revenue stream or any other part of your business where you stick with it because it's familiar and not necessarily because it's effective. So do a little internal audit and see if you are having a devilish conversation with yourself. I hope this gives you lots of food for thought. I love Traction. It's a very juicy book, lots of good nuggets, highly recommend it. And we're going to continue talking about it and exploring its themes next month. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this inspires you. And if you have any questions, just reach out. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, guys.